Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. This next clip that we have coming up is with Professor Griff, who is speaking at the 16th anniversary of the Million Man March. Professor Griff is breaking down for us the psychological war that is taking place in hip-hop. The war for your mind to manipulate our brothers and sisters, particularly our young brothers and sisters, to a self-destructive behavior. So check this out. At the end of the clip, Professor Griff will be giving you information on how to purchase his new book. We also want to encourage each and every one of you to support independent hip-hop artists. We also want to ask you to follow us on Twitter. That's twitter.com/KnowForLife, and on Facebook, and that's facebook.com/KnowForLife, and facebook.com/KnowForLife2. With that, I want to leave you as I came before you. Assalamu alaikum.
Dr. Professor Griff. An opportunity to respond as well. Now, when I spoke to Professor Griff, I said, brother, what part of the book did you want to speak on? And he told me he wanted to deal with the topic of
it's all about the Benjamins.
It's all about the Benjamins. It's all about the Benjamins. And when we discussed it and he was going into it, I said, man, just hold this for the audience. So, brother Professor Griff, can you please, Donna Farrakhan just walked back in. Donna. I'll say to your face what I said behind your back. When I first heard you speak, you just blew me away. And I thought you were having an out-of-body experience. You were so powerful, but thank you for being here with us. So Professor Griff, yeah, please recognize Donna. Professor Griff, can you share with us, please, how the chapter all about the Benjamins impacted you?
Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, Beneficent and Merciful, I want to greet the God body, the God family, with a civilized greeting in a very uncivilized time. Assalamu alaikum. I think in order for me to get to all about the Benjamins, which we know and understand was a song that was written by Puffy in his camp, but before we get to that, I think I need to kind of lay a base and a reference point for the brothers and sisters that may not know a brief history of Professor Griff in the context of Public Enemy coming out of Mosque number 7. And I think it's very important and very key that young Muslims know that in order for us to somewhat press the cultural reset button in hip-hop. And what I mean by that is we often talk about what's going on in rap, and a lot of people get it confused with hip-hop. And just for the record, rap is not hip-hop. Hip-hop is something that you are. Rap is something that you do. So we have to understand hip-hop being higher infinite power healing our people. I'm going to say it again slow. Higher infinite power healing our people. We've always had the 4 fundamental elements of hip-hop. All right, so we need to understand rap being up under the umbrella of hip-hop. But before we even get to volume 2, I'll be real quick. There's a saying, I believe Steve Biko said, I am because we are, therefore I am. In the Nation of Islam, I've often heard in the ranks, there's no big I or little you. And I've heard in the revolutionary circles, everything for everyone and nothing for ourselves. And keeping these particular things in mind, coming up in the ranks of the Nation of Islam, Mosque number 7, coming out of Long Island, New York, which we call Strong Island. Just standing in the ranks like every other brother, I had the idea, listening to rap, also learning the military discipline, and what was being taught to me was bringing out the radical militancy in myself and didn't know what to do with it. So when I hooked up with Chuck D, just like any two brothers would hook up on the street corner, hanging out, doing our thing, talking, we decided to put together Public Enemy. Now, it just wasn't going to be any old rap group. Our plan was to come into the industry for 2 years and 2 years only. Shake it up, set the record straight, and get out, hopefully with our lives intact. So we set upon that journey. Now mind you, at this time, I didn't know Flavor Flav was working with Chuck and his father. So that was far from what I was thinking, totally. At the same time, I went and got Terminator X, and this formed the nucleus of Public Enemy, and the brothers and sisters that I was bringing busloads of brothers and sisters from Long Island to Mosque number 7 ultimately became the S1Ws. So I think we need to understand that. Now keep this in mind, brothers and sisters, and I'm saying this for the first time. Chuck D was not in the mosque. Terminator X was not in the mosque. And you know Flavor wasn't in the mosque. Everybody following me? So the only one that was there that was bringing that information to serve as the basis for the songs was Professor Griff. But I took no credit for it. I was only doing what an FOI should do. We do our do. I'm not wrong. All right. So now, on the road, battling the challenges on the road, mind you, I'm still a young brother in my 20s, thinking I'm halfway gonna fly, you know, doing my thing. All of the challenges on the road. The chicks, excuse me for the language, but I'm just laying it out, didn't move me. The money didn't move me. Every now and then you see me in some Louis or some Gucci, but that didn't move me anyway. I just used that as a uniform of the day to get through and do what I had to do. But I was taking the brothers who was attending FOI class that were now S1Ws into the hood to go get our people. Because our mission was, and me and Chuck sat back and said, we were going to raise the conscious level of our people by any, every, and all. And we went and we set out to do that. And end result of that is a large majority of the people that were coming to the nation was hearing the Public Enemy songs that didn't know who Farrakhan was. And we would interweave some of the speeches, Malcolm, Jesse, Farrakhan, Ava Muhammad, and other brothers and sisters into the songs just to remind the people that forgot and to reintroduce that body of knowledge to people that was coming up in hip-hop. Mind you, at that time, we only experienced the oral tradition of hip-hop, where you had to be there to experience hip-hop. So 86 to 87, when the conscious era of hip-hop kicked in, Public Enemy helped give birth to a consciousness in hip-hop, which gave birth to Big Daddy Kane, Queen Latifah, Poor Righteous Teachers, and a lot of the other brothers. And there was a movement going on. But no one knew of Professor Griff because I was just doing my part as an FOI. I wasn't out front. I didn't need to be. The work was being done and everything was fine. But what happened, brothers and sisters? Lo and behold, the culture bandits creeped in. And I believe in your lessons, the Muhammad Elijah Muhammad called them the 10% element, the bloodsuckers of the poor. We know them today as the Illuminati. Are you following me? So now, when they crept in and talked about them in a book called The First Millennium of the Certified Uncle Toms, on page 236, it talked about how they would get together and niggerize hip-hop. And they did that by using Quincy Jones and the Vibe magazine to niggerize hip-hop. So by the time NWA came out and Dre came out with the Chronic, it successfully neutralized Public Enemy. So you heard no more consciousness. Sad but true. We went through a period. Now let me read you the period that we went through. We went from the oral tradition of hip-hop and then entered into the conscious era of hip-hop. After the conscious era of hip-hop, we went into the gangster rap era. From the gangster rap era, they started thugging, balling out of control, and this is where you get all about the Benjamins, cats making it rain in the club and this kind of thing. Shortly after that, the pimping element of hip-hop was introduced. And at this particular time, they were marrying hip-hop on to strip clubs and that kind of madness with Luke and these kind of songs coming from the bottom. They was marrying hip-hop on to the criminal element. They was marrying hip-hop on to pimping and gangsterism and balling out of control. They constantly was marrying hip-hop on to these things because hip-hop was the voice of the voiceless. So now we entered into a phase of the metrosexual. I'm going to say that again slow. The metrosexual was put in place as a buffer between the radical brothers and sisters that were taking their product to the record companies, you had to go through them. And their job was to just strictly turn you down and become the buffer. So when you came with your positive material, they said, no, we're not signing anything like that. But if you did something like NWA, and NWA became the template for all the other rap groups that come out at that particular time. So now as I'm reading the book, I'm thinking about sharecropping back in our history, and how we can run a parallel between sharecropping and what's going on at the record labels, which are nothing but plantations in your damn way. So now, I'm going to be real quick. So now metrosexual is in place. And right now, what you're witnessing brothers coming out of jail, marrying on the criminal element from prison right to the hip-hop element in the streets. So now we're experiencing cats wearing their pants damn near at their knees. Dr. Francis Cresswell said, in a minute you're going to see young brothers stepping out of their damn pants and putting on a skirt. And that's what's going on right now as we speak, with these automatons like Nicki Minaj and this kind of madness going on. Are you following me? So now this element is being ushered in. The gender lines are being blurred. You can't tell men from women, women from men. There's not a positive female in hip-hop right now that we can even muster up. Women are on stage grabbing their crotches right now, and we can understand that if you understood where the culture bandits came in and where they took conscious hip-hop and the direction that they took conscious hip-hop. Now, let me say this real quick. The secret relationship between blacks and Jews, part 2. On page 224, chapter 4, it deals with all about the Benjamins. As I read, it was dealing with the ex-slave meet the Jewish merchant. Well, that same Jewish merchant's relatives are in place at the record companies today. All he did was pass it down. It's the same system, and the same thing is going on today. Now, if you ask the question, why the Benjamins? Well, I didn't write the book. I just read the book. Someone called it all about the Benjamins, and immediately I started thinking about Puffy, or P. Diddy, or whatever he's going by this week. We have to understand what a Benjamin is. A Benjamin is a ravenous wolf. In the morning, he devours the prey, and in the evening, he divides the plunder, as it talks about in Genesis 49:27. Now, we have to understand something very critical at this point. In dealing with sharecropping, we can relate it directly to what's going on in the music industry today, because all the hell they're doing is picking electronic cotton. This is all they're doing. And it's strictly for the slave masters and their children. Simply because black brothers and sisters with ugu globs of talent are taking their talent, and even if they set up their own record labels, they still have to get distribution. And now digital distribution has been taken into the next era. And we have to understand how vital that is, because now your average cell phone company is going to be the record company. So we have to understand that particular dynamic. All right, so now, if we understand where hip-hop has been, where it's going, and what we have to deal with now, let me take you into something very, very, very basic. There is a brother in the Nation of Islam, Philip A. Muhammad. He wrote a book, Willie Lynch's Newest Slave. The brother did something, which is the Hip-Hop Nation. The brother did something very critical in the book. He did exactly what Steve Copeland was talking about back in the days by connecting the dots. As long as we just talked about the record companies and not talk about who owned the record companies and what families, Dr. Jeffries, owned the record companies, and you was right on it with the 3 R's, what families own the record companies, then we cannot make the connection. So we have to understand this particular dynamic. Philip A. Muhammad showed the pictures of the people and the families and their relatives and what they own and what else they control. And when you look at those particular charts and graphs and pictures in the brother's book, it spells it out. It is an easy read, and we can understand what's going on. And let me explain to you what's going on today in the music industry to make it very, very, very clear. I laid out in my book the psychological covert war on hip-hop. I lost this book in a house fire in 2008. When I rewrote it, I wrote in the Illuminati's takeover of hip-hop. Why did I do that? Because, listen, brothers and sisters, I'm not speaking to you from a bumper sticker perspective. I'm not speaking to you because I read it on some damn t-shirt. I'm in the music industry and I see it go on. I see how young brothers and sisters come with their talent and now they're made to sign these deals called 360 deals. Have you ever heard of the 360 deal? The 360 deal sounds something like this. If you have talent, brother, you come to the record company, all right? You not knowing the industry and the business, they will have you sign a deal and the contract will look about this thick. Inside of this particular contract that you have to get one of their Jewish lawyers to help you read the contract before you sign it, what you're actually signing your life away. And what that means is this. 360 means that if you sign the record deal, you sign every other deal not knowing. All of the ancillary properties that's attached to the record deal, you're already signing away. So if a sneaker company comes and gives you a deal, they get part of that. If your grandma leaves you a Snickers bar in your will, they get part of that. Are you following me? I mean, not really Snickers, but you know what I'm talking about. So these 360 deals are dangerous. This reminds me of the sharecroppers because we had to rent land in order to grow our crops, right or wrong. The subsidiaries that are owned, black record labels that are owned by black people, as Minister Farrakhan eloquently put it, all these successful young black millionaires are always having a Jew boy on their side somewhere controlling it. And they use these Jewish lawyers and accountants who really run the music industry. Accountants and lawyers. They use them to guide the young artists. Would you believe right now Jay-Z signed a 360 deal? Puffy doesn't even own the name Bad Boy. I mean, and we can go on and on and on. But let me tell you what I put in the book so you don't think I'm shucking and jiving. In the book, The Psychological Covert War on Hip-Hop, I seen what was going on in the music industry. And I said that there's a war going on. Not only a war going on, it's a covert war that's going on in the music industry. Because we can't see it. We see something changing, but we can't put our finger on the pulse of what's going on. And the reason why we have to explain what psychological means simply because we think it's something dealing with the mind. And it's not. Psychology and ancient Kemet and Dr. J will back me up on this. The psyche is the soul.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so when we're talking about the psyche, which is the soul, the war is not for your mind, the war is for your soul, brothers and sisters. They're trying to control your soul. So there's a covert war going on in hip-hop. Let me just lay out 5 points in their agenda, and then I'm going to close. In the book on page 82, it talks about the secret covenant. Now, when we had the conversation, brother, the conversation went something like this. Well, Professor Griff, what is it that you want to talk about and led to the conversation? I said, I want to talk about the damn secret of the damn secret. Are you following me? I mean, so what the hell is the secret? Are you following me? We know and understand it's the hidden agenda, the hidden secret, the hidden colors. But let me explain to you what they wrote about what their plan was going to be. It's called the Secret Covenant on page 82. It says, an illusion, it will be so large, so vast, it will escape their perception. Those who will see it will be thought of as insane, us. The 5%ers. Poor righteous teachers of the planet Earth who do not believe in the teachings of the 10%, who are all wise and civilized. We will create separate fronts. We will create separate fronts and prevent them from seeing the connection between us. Meaning there'll be many names for the Illuminati. And the word Illuminati simply means holders of the light.
Go ahead.
Let's not get that twisted either. We are the light holders. We are the, seriously. Just by your eating one meal a day, you send out that particular beam of light. 3, we will behave as if we are not connected to the illusion, thus keeping it alive. Our goal will be to accomplish this one drop at a time, so as to never bring suspicion upon ourselves. This will also prevent them from seeing the changes as they occur. We will also stand above the relative field of their experience, for we know the secrets of their absolute. It says, we will work together always, and we will remain bound by blood and secrecy. Death will come to those who speak above a whisper. This is what I started telling the hip-hop nation when I said the Illuminati is existing in hip-hop, and I see it. Brothers and sisters that are becoming rich overnight, taking these blood oaths, sacrificing their family members. This is what I said when I talked about Jennifer Hudson, when I talked about Kanye West, Pimp C, and some other people. And right now, as we speak, I brought an article of Vesta Williams dying at age 53 in some damn, rotting away at some damn hotel somewhere. Vesta Williams, who wrote the song Congratulations. Just a few more points. Skipping down now, it says, we will teach them that poisons are good with fun images and musical tones. Did I say McDonald's? Anyway, I'm talking about McDonald's, Murder King, Toxical, Drunken Donuts, and the rest of them. Kentucky Fried Chicken, and the rest of them. Fast food and slow death. And a lot of y'all are dying from radiation with these damn, how dumb people have smartphones. Anyway, I'm closing, brother. It says we will start early on when their minds are young, and we will target their children with what children love most, sweet things. When their teeth decay, we will fill them with metals that will kill their minds and steal their future. This is what they wrote. It's called The Secret Covenant. You can look it up on the internet or get it right in my book right on the table over there. Last but not least, there's a quote that I'd like to read from our good brother, the calypso singer, the violinist, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, sir.
And he says, heed the call, y'all. It's easy to tell. A white man's heaven is a black man's hell. Assalamu alaikum. Thank y'all very much.